Now that we have the forwarder set up, we're ready to add our Splunk server and some data sources from the web server. If the Docker stack isn't already running, open a terminal in the log generator folder and run docker compose up. And I'll go to a second terminal here. Now let's connect to our web container. We'll say docker exec-it web1 bash. So to begin, we'll cd to opt Splunk forwarder bin and use /splunk space start. And I'll clear the screen again. So now we're ready to add our Splunk server. I've set up the Docker stack so that it can access the host machine at splunk.docker.internal as the URL. If this were a real instance, you'd need to make sure you either use the IP address or the correct host name. So you use /splunk add /server, and then the host name, splunk.docker.internal, and the port, which is 9997. You'll see an error here about certificate hostname validation. We can safely ignore that. This is just because of our Docker-based setup. Now it's prompting us for a username and password. This should match the password you created when you installed the Splunk forwarder. All right, so we have our forwarding set up. Let's clear the screen again. To confirm that's working, we use /splunk list forward-server. And you can see here it says active forwards and has our Splunk server. If it's showing up down here, you might just need to wait a minute before this starts showing up. And you should also double check that you don't have a typo in your host name. So let's clear the screen again. So the command here is /splunk add monitor and then var log. That will pick up the logs that we're generating and a few log files that the Ubuntu container creates. So let's take a look at those. We'll say ls var log. See, we've got our access log created by the log generator and our secure log, and then a few others that were created on the container boot. Let me clear the screen again. For our Docker environment, we'll need to take one extra step. We'll say rm and then /opt Splunk forwarder /etc /system local and then server.conf. So we're just removing this server.conf file. This will force Splunk to pick up the correct host name on each of our containers the next time we start it up. So we can quit this with Control-D or type exit. Let me clear the screen. Before moving on, we'll be sure to commit those container changes to our image. So the command is docker commit, and then the name of the container, web1, and then the image, log generator. Now if we go to the other tab, we can stop our Docker Compose stack with Control-C, and we'll just wait for that to finish. And then we can run docker compose up. Now both containers should have the forwarder configured and set up to forward logs to our Splunk server.